And welcome back to Caesar Man Warrior, and this is another patron roster review. This time it is Nolar. Nolar is in the one and the only TI, Team Instinct. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Nolar really doesn't need much of a roster review. Really, it's just a matter of tweaking a couple of things, and really the two spots that Nolar wanted was ships, just some ideas on ships, and then also as far as the phase 3 of the heroic AAT, wants to do more damage in the heroic AAT phase 3. So we're going to skip right in, but first I want to just showcase Nolar's inventory roster. Pretty impressive. Obviously someone who spends money in the game, but pretty amazing lineup, if you ask me. Quite a few Gear 11, even a Gear 11 Director Krennic. Wow. Tuscan Shaman at Gear 11. Wow. Wow. Harrison Dula, Gear 10. Dang. Pretty awesome. And Bodhi at the very bottom, brand new 2-star character we got. Okay, so pretty awesome roster. Definitely doesn't need a whole lot of information from me except for phase 3. So for everybody out there that's trying to do a really good phase 3 heroic, let me go ahead and go through this unique team that I think is going to take you to the next level. Now I know you're probably using the original Chirpa lead, Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Royal Guard, and Shore Trooper type setup. We're going to go in and show you what can get you over 2 million in the phase 3 heroic. For your lead, you will be using Tebow. That is right, old school Tebow for turn meter reduction and stealth. Stealth will be important to this team, so people go in and out of stealth, preventing them from targeting certain characters at certain times. Second, Tebow will have turn meter reduction. That is important in phase 3 with the battle droid in the middle that for preventing him from taking turns. So let's look at the number 2 character. Number 2 character you're going to put in here is Jyn Erso. She's super fast. You're going to be able to use her turn meter reduction. She'll give additional turns to other people on the team with her special ability. And she has the turn meter reduction where she can remove all the turn meter. Again, this is another turn meter reducer. Really great, just like Tebow. Tebow and Jyn Erso are both phenomenal turn meter reducers. Number 3 on this team will be Darth Nihilus. Now, he's going to be there for one reason and one reason alone. Well, actually, he's good for 2. One, he can do Ceaseless Craving, which will dispel on a basic. The dispel in phase 3 is important, but he also can use his Drain Force, which, think about it, in phase 3, there's 6 other bots plus the 7th main droid. So you're talking about 7 potentially debuffed characters. He could potentially, with the 7 plus the next turn cooldown, get to be able to use his Annihilate almost every other round. It's pretty insane. At least every 3rd round he'll get to use Annihilate because of the amount of targets that are out on the field, and that's 100,000 damage every single time he uses Annihilate. Now the last 2 characters that you'll need for this team are in Rebels as well, and it would be Baze Malbus. He's going to be your tank to kind of keep everyone alive, and he's going to continue to taunt every time Chirrut goes under 100% health or anytime an opponent dies, which, by the way, that happens quite a bit in phase 3, so he's going to throw his taunt up quite a bit. So definitely Baze Malbus to be there. In addition, he's going to put speed down on every one of those targets, which is the debuffs you're going to need for Darth Nihilus. They're going to shoot him, he's going to shoot them back, put speed down. It will slow the opposing team down and put all the debuffs you need for Darth Nihilus. So Baze Malbus is critical in this team. And lastly is going to be his best friend, Chirrut Imwe. Chirrut is going to do a ton of damage. He is going to be able to heal the team, keeping them alive. He's going to be able to cleanse the team, keeping them alive. And even if he goes under 100% health, that's only going to benefit you by being able to apply the taunt that Baze Malbus does. So you're going to have Chirrut and Baze. That's a great combo. Now, I know you're probably using Chirrut and Baze in phase 4. You can build a Rebel team that does really great damage in phase 4 without Chirrut and Baze. It's a little bit harder, but I would recommend trying this in phase 3 and seeing what you think about it. So Tebow and Jyn are there for turn meter reduction on the main tank, and then you've got Darth Nihilus to do all the heavy damage, and Baze to put down all the debuffs and take the damage, ensure it to cleanse, and to keep everyone healed. You should be able to get over 2 million damage with this suggested heroic Phase 3 AAT tank raid team. Now, the last thing you wanted to know about was ships, and you're using Endurance, and you have a ton of target lock ships. You have obviously Biggs as a tank in there, but then you have 4 target locking ships that are all relatively squishy. So the problem that I see with this ship thing, now you're in the 6th slot, so take this with a grain of salt, Nolar, because obviously you know what you're doing and you got a phenomenal team lineup. But I think that there's too many attackers and target lockers and not enough tanks. My thought would be just try it. And then if you don't like this team, throw this idea away. Take what I'm saying, take what Warrior says with a grain of salt. But this is the team lineup that I would recommend for you. I would recommend Admiral Akbar with the home one for the additional speed. And with Endurance, what you're trying to do is you're trying to outlast the opponent, and you're trying to get as much time in on that battle as possible, so you can time them out and pass around the taunt. And he gives that critical hit immunity with taunt and some protection up, but the critical hit immunity and protection up doesn't really stop that particular ship from dying. So even though it helps, it doesn't. When you get 5 other ships still shooting at it, it's still, that ship's going down, especially your less tanky ships like you have. So my thought would be to switch it up, try it for a little bit, switch from Endurance to Admiral Akbar's home one, and then use your TIE Advanced, because you have it. Why not use it, right? That's going to give you turn lock, or target lock. And then I would use Biggs and Sunfac as your 2 tanks. So you have Sunfac down there at level 73, but I would put a little bit of credits into Sunfac's ship, get it up a little higher. But that way you have 2 tanks already, plus you've got Admiral Akbar, and when these tanks are going to go out of turn, they're going to provide additional protection up and turn lock with Sunfac, which is pretty amazing. And same thing with Wedge. You're going to get awesome out of turn damage done. And then I would also put Slave 1, since you like Slave 1 and he's powerful, into that first lineup. And with 2 tanks, Slave 1 shouldn't be killed and targeted right away. And then I would also use the Imperial TIE Fighter, and the reason is it's really hard to hit, it does a lot of damage, and it can even do buff immunity, preventing the opponent from using their taunts on certain characters, which is pretty awesome. But the TIE Fighter, the more they try and go for it, what's going to happen is it's going to give you more turn meters. So I would do in the initial lineup Admiral Akbar, the TIE Advanced, the Imperial TIE Fighter, and Slave 1 as your 3 attackers, and they're going to put down way more than enough target lock, and then Biggs and Sunfac to protect them. In your back 3, I would do your Darth Maul Scimitar ship, so when something dies, it comes in and guaranteed uses its special ability. And then I would use your First Order TIE Fighter. He's going to come in, he has a lot of damage he can apply, and more than likely, he is going to be coming in to a bunch of ships that have target lock already, and then you'll be able to use Strafe. Strafe will automatically deal a ton of damage, around 50k, and its cooldown will be refreshed, which means you'll be able to come in out of backup, strafe a target. If they have target lock, they'll do a lot of damage, possibly kill them, and then the very next turn you'll be able to use Strafe again. So I would put him as your number 2, and as the number 3 last in your lineup, I would actually use Wedge. Wedge, again, is one of the highest hitting attackers in the game. So if you like Endurance, and that is as far as your ships, and you're in the top 5 anyway, you can leave everything the same. But if you would want to change it up, I would recommend the Admiral Akbar lead, run TIE Advanced, Biggs Wedge, or Biggs, Sunfac, Slave 1, the Imperial TIE Fighter, and in the backup, your Darth Maul ship, Scimitar, and then your First Order ship, and then your Wedge's ship. So that's how I would do it. Hope this helps you. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior, out.